Previously on the road to 9.
That was Leia's voice. I just picked up on that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm ruined.
I have to get back to work.
It's time to talk about Return of the goddamn Jedi. It was the first Star Wars film that a lot of millennials properly remember seeing, because of the teddy bears and the green slug guy. For true Star Wars fans, also known as Gen Xers and Boomers, or YouTubers, it's also a first. The first time that Star Wars was ruined and dead and never coming back because of, let me check, teddy bears and the slug guy. But forgetting that for a moment, Return of the Jedi introduced something that's super important for what's about to come, and that's the idea of redemption. Anakin Skywalker, killer of children, is redeemed. But not just that, the Empire falls, and out of its ashes, the gateway towards the sequel trilogy. Joining us today to talk about Return of the Jedi and Battlefront 2's campaign story, we're joined by YouTube extraordinaire Maj0r Lee.
Hello.
We're in.
We're having another go. We're spinning the wheel again on a live stream. And today we're going to be talking about Return of the Jedi, Battlefront 2, Redemption, weird shit, things we want to see in Episode 9, the whole thing.
More weird shit.
More weird shit. Just weird shit all over the shop. And we're joined by Maj0r Lee. Lee, how are you today, mate?
Doing just fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. And
We're the three bearded amigos here.
that's it. My beard's pretty weak in comparison to yours. Like I got this.
It's just the lighting.
I wish, but yeah, I don't know. It's a genetics thing. I got nothing here. I got no cheek coverage, and I
I
can't.
feel terrible without one. When I don't have one, I feel naked and like I got no personality and just yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I look like a big fat baby. It's gross.
Right.
There is a video. One of our videos has got big fat baby Sean.
Yeah, I had like a full thing, and I got my hair short and all that, and I just have like a big goit. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm still.
He was wearing a diaper and he asked me to change him.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
It's just halfway through the video. I'm just like, Shawnee made boom boom. It's pretty rough.
I wish I was on that show.
Oh no, that's yeah.
I would have been making boom boom right along with you.
That's it. Thanks, man. That's good.
Oh, all right. Well,
Where to begin? So let's start with Return of the Jedi. So one of the main things with Return of the Jedi that we think of is obviously like the redemption of Vader.
oh, I've got a clip actually. Let's play the clip.
Oh, cool. We will get at some point to the special edition, the Blu-ray changes, but we'll come back to that.
That's when we talk about the weird shit.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, in terms of Return of the Jedi, what's the lesson that you took from it in terms of redemption?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in your own life. No, okay.
Well, I mean, it's kind of really catering towards anyone who's had a shitty relationship with their father. I mean, anyone who's had an estranged father or an abusive father or didn't know their father. This is about accepting that person no matter what, just unconditional acceptance because he's your family. And, you know, I never had a bad relationship with my father. It's been pretty good. But the movie still is so like that theme is so resonant in it that after watching Return of the Jedi, I always just want to call my dad and be like, Dad, I love you. Because it's just, that's the most powerful aspect of the movie is the Luke and Vader storyline.
Yeah.
It's super positive. I mean, I'm sure when the movie came out and people were seeing this villain that they've had 6 years to think about how evil he is, when they're seeing him be redeemed, it was probably just so shocking. Then again, the movie gives you so many clues that it's going to happen. I mean, just from the very beginning, the way Vader talks to the Emperor and the way he refers to Luke as his son, and the Emperor's not really feeling that. He's like, I hope your feelings on this matter are clear, Lord. You could just tell that ever since Vader met Luke, he was being pulled towards the light himself.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not the most surprising twist ever, but it's just powerful. I mean, it's one of the best like examples of a villain turning good, because it's his son, you know, brings him back, and that's true. It's like you always should have some sort of unconditional love for your family. I mean, obviously you don't let them get away with murder, but I think it's interesting.
Family members.
Yeah, same. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
If you're Kylo Ren, I'm not so sure. That's why this sequel trilogy is so interesting, because nobody knows if Kylo's going to be redeemed or not. It could go either way, and there's a lot of debating over that. And I also think it could be the complete opposite message of the original trilogy, whereas that was about redeeming your family member and loving your family no matter what. This new trilogy might be about the abusive relationship and how you can't redeem people who aren't your family because you are on completely different paths and have totally different upbringings. That might be the message for Rey and Kylo, but who knows? We'll have to see. It could go either way.
Well, that's the sort of thing, isn't it? Like, the redemption plotline it's not as cut and dry as just one person going from one thing to another thing, if you know what I mean. Like, within Star Wars, there's so many redemption storylines of, like, you know, Han Solo being only caring about himself, but then coming back to save them. Lando betraying them and then turning good, and then Vader and in Battlefront, when we get to that, like, you know, changing sides and stuff. Like, redemption takes many forms, so it's going to be interesting. I think that
even Finn. You can say,
yeah, Finn, exactly. Yeah, the perfect example.
Yeah.
Well,
there's redemption and there's forgiveness, and I think, like you've got the Vader redemption thing, and this is sort of a thing that's come up on other podcasts and stuff that have been on. It's like, well, who's the redemption for? Because it's, as we know, it's not for the greater public. It's a very personal thing, right? Is redemption in the eyes of the Force? Is it in the eyes of Luke? Is it in the eyes of both? Or is it to us? I think, like, if we're being really objective, if this was a dude that we knew in real life and he did one great thing, but the rest of his life that we knew him, he was a total jack-off, you know, we probably wouldn't give him a pass.
Well, yes.
Or would we?
Well, I think you're seeing a lot of that, like, not to delve into this quagmire of shit, but like the like American politics, like when you do see someone who has like towed the Trump line for ages and then turns on him, and then you're kind of like, no, fuck you, you towed the line. You should have turned on him at the start, but then you're like, well, but is it enough that they've turned now? In any politics where you see someone who's kind of like...
the rebranding of George W. Bush.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Is that going to lose his monetization?
Maybe.
I think it's so interesting to have this conversation right now because The Rise of Skywalker isn't out yet. Like, there are so many people that think that Kylo's going to be redeemed, and then there's other people that think that that's crazy because he's killed Han Solo, tried to kill Luke, almost killed Leia. Like, how could this person be redeemed? And I just think that is so smart on their, you know, in terms of like marketing, just giving people this big of a thing to debate about. It's big. Like, Kylo Ren is the best part, in my opinion, the best part of these new movies, because he's super unpredictable. The Last Jedi, I hate it. I mean, both movies he's been unpredictable in, but The Last Jedi just upped the stakes. It made it so that we can expect him to turn good or turn bad. I'm surprised at how many people aren't talking about the possibility that he just turns even more evil. Like, what if the movie ends with him just becoming the new Vader, and he's half robotic and he's just totally given up on trying to be a human being, and then it ends with this sort of cliffhanger of, all right, maybe we'll get more movies and a new saga where he's Vader now. Again, maybe that goes against ending the Skywalker saga. Maybe they should all just die. I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool, though, if they ended it in such a way where it's like, okay, maybe there's more. Maybe it's a different saga with some of the same characters. But not many people are just, like, I'm seeing just everyone, especially on Twitter, just Ben-demption. Just, it's getting redeemed. It's going to happen. And, you know.
Yeah, I'm one of them. You know,
as long as it works, I'm happy. I'm not like going into this movie with any expectations of what I want to happen. I was so satisfied by The Last Jedi that I actually don't give a flying fuck what happens in this movie. I don't care. I have no expectation. Like, do whatever you want. I'm good. I just want to kick back and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he turns good and it works and it's believable, that could be incredible. So yeah, it's crazy. He killed Han. Yeah, but what are you gonna do? I mean, Vader killed children and he got redeemed.
Killed Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Killed Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's the intro. Like,
Right.
You couldn't hear it, but yeah, the intro video was like Anakin Skywalker, killer of children.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true. Not just the children, but the women as well. Yeah.
And
like,
you know, it feels good to watch Anakin get redeemed, I think, because we actually have moments where we feel bad for Vader. Like in Return of the Jedi, once we see the Emperor kind of treating him like shit and just treating him like a bitch, like he's like, you're gonna be mine, just like your father. Now we feel bad for Vader. We're like, damn, this situation is sad that this guy's in. So I don't know, unless that's the thing. Like, they already kind of did that with Snoke and Kylo in The Last Jedi. Like, I was feeling really bad for Kylo when Snoke was like, you know, making fun of his mask and shit. I was like, damn, this guy killed his dad for nothing because Snoke doesn't even care.
Doesn't give a shit. Just going to interject very quickly. So a couple of people in the live chat, FN1189, new patron, is the video pre-recorded? There's your answer.
There you go.
And just a quick one on the format. So we're going to have a Q&A bit at the end. So if you've got any specific questions or things that you want us to talk about anything that we're bringing up, wait until the end, throw them in the chat room, and we'll hit them up, and we'll just basically do like we did last time. So we'll read the question, and then one of us will just take one of us will answer it, and we'll go from there. So on what you were saying, Lee, and sorry to cut you off if you're
not at all
thinking about something else, but it's interesting that you bring that up. So we see Vader get treated like shit in Return of the Jedi. We feel bad for him. I feel like there's a distinct lack of empathy going the other way these days with Kylo Ren. We see him, and I'm not talking about everyone, because obviously there is a very, very big section of the fan base that is all for Ben. But there's also a very big section of the fan base that is just like, no, fuck him. Right. And part of me is just like, well, it's pretty clear this dude has been manipulated and he's getting treated like shit. Where's our empathy for him? But we've got it, and it's those same people that seem to have it for Vader. Yeah. They seem to have a few things for Vader. It's, like that, So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the moment. It's based on the moment. Like, in that moment where Snoke is berating him and calls him a child in a mask, I feel bad for Kylo. When he smashes his mask, I feel bad for him. When he can't shoot Leia because it's his mother, I feel bad for him. But then by the end of the film, he's come full circle and he's back to being a piece of shit. Like, when he's angry at Luke and, swinging around to a ghost, embarrassing himself in front of the whole First Order, now you're back to being a clown and I hate you. But that's why he's such a good character. He really brings you back and forth. And the moment where he's fighting alongside Rey, it's like you don't even know what to think, and you have no idea where the movie's going, and it's like your mind has just been shattered. You're just like, what? I'm rooting for Kylo right now. Like, who the fuck would have expected this? So that's why it's so great. And I'm telling you, I guarantee, if I was working on this film, like if I was, doing the VFX or whatever the fuck, I would just love the fact that people are having this debate. I would think it's the coolest thing in the world. But no, I think it's just based on the moment. Like, there probably will be a moment in The Rise of Skywalker when we hate him. Then there's going to be a moment where we feel for him because he's being nice to Rey. And it's just like tugging at our heartstrings back and forth. He's great, man. I mean, obviously Adam Driver is phenomenal. And he seems to be getting like the most roles out of everyone also. Like, he's just working a lot.
He's everywhere, isn't he? He's not, how old is he? Like,
he's close to he's age group.
But he's worked with like Spielberg, Scorsese. He's just done that one with.
He's been sought out for.
I mean, he is just like people just like, this guy is the guy.
Yeah.
You know what nobody's talking about, and I think it's pretty silly. But what if the Emperor gets redeemed.
Oh God.
No one is having that theory. That would be very unsuspecting.
Okay, how
So
how
it's-
would it happen though? If
I
he
don't
would
know.
be redeemed?
The Emperor is like good now, and Kylo's bad, and I don't know.
Like Kylo and Rey are fighting, and then the Emperor's just like, no. Picks up Kylo Ren and throws him down a hole.
I mean, I don't want to like completely pivot topics here, but we're gonna have to at some point in this cast, we're gonna have to just dive into what we think is gonna happen with the Emperor in the next movie, especially if we're talking about.
Oh,
Return
yeah.
of the Jedi.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. Return of the
yeah.
Jedi is like, I mean, it's an incredible thing to sit and watch the original trilogy and have the Emperor be mentioned in the first film
Once.
Right.
Yeah, dissolve the Senate. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Second film, he appears.
Yep. Monkey face.
Monkey face or monkey
Yeah.
eyes, old woman
Yeah.
face. And then obviously then he's the main villain in the third film. And it's such a weird progression of like, it's
isn't that
incredible.
interesting? Like
Yeah.
at first he was in 2 movies, then he was in 3, and now he's in 1. It's
Yeah.
like they just can't let him go. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I was watching the trailer, and I thought just how crazy it is that they're showing a Star Destroyer rise out of the ice,
Mm.
Yeah.
and it
Oh.
really seems like he's back from the dead, and
Yeah.
so are all these ships. Like that
Yeah.
shot of all the Star Destroyers just black, lined up. It
Yeah.
looks like just this fleet of zombie ships.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's
And-
an epic shot, isn't it?
It's that
Yeah.
trailer was just like, I was saying this to Matt, it's so massive.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
if you sit and watch like the trailer
That's what she
for nice. If you sit and watch the trailer for like Last Jedi, it's like all these little intimate moments with a few bits
Like a
of
little
action.
porg, little
Yeah,
thing.
little things.
Yeah.
But then like Rise of Skywalker, it's just like builds and builds and builds, and then it's like dudes riding space horses on fucking Star Destroyers while a space battle's going on, and you're just like, this is it.
No, you're
This
right.
is this is
Yeah.
it. This. When I was like 7 years old watching Star Wars,
Yeah.
this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
This is
And
all
the unicorns are finally in the Star Wars. I mean,
Finally.
we finally have something resembling. Yeah. No, I mean
Yeah.
you're right. There's a big Death Star. There's a lot of grand, big that ice thing that the TIE fighters are flying
Yeah.
to.
It's
But
like a floating ice.
It's like, yeah,
structure
and
or
it's,
something.
and it's just like 2 TIE
Yeah.
fighters, 8, 20, it just
Yeah.
loads like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
fleet. But I think if they do something like that, like if they're resurrecting all this stuff that has been killed off, and again, I could be totally misinterpreting the trailer, but if all these things are rising from the ashes, that means they're going to have to bring back some light side characters. And we all saw Avengers Endgame. We know what happened at the end there. Everyone walked out of a portal and came back from the dead. I think a lot of fans out there are expecting Star Wars to do basically that same thing. Like there are people out there that want just like this army of blue ghosts flying.
Like fucking Return of the King, just all
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
all
Exactly.
yeah,
The
yeah.
ghosts. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't blame people for wanting that and expecting that after seeing the trailer. I mean, that shot where you see all those ships come down, led by the Falcon, you know that is just going to be like
Yeah.
once those ships start firing the lasers, it's just going to be like, oh,
But-
Controlling that action sequence is going to be a real skill, like for editors.
Yeah.
for like rendering. It probably took like a
Oh, yeah.
block of computers to like a supercomputer just to render
Just
that
to make
shot.
it work. Yeah.
Because you also just like, okay, so you got all those ships, and obviously the Falcon comes in, but you're like, well, what are they facing? What
Right.
is it? What's on the other side of that they need that many ships?
Yeah.
And obviously
All
you've seen
those
that big
Star
ghost fleet of Star Destroyers, so is it just going to be that? I mean, I can't let it take that.
It's gonna be massive. You know what's cool? It's like this. Return of the Jedi kind of was foregoing all the space battling until like the last 40 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And you know, if they're gonna do that sort of thing again, yeah, it's gonna be insanity.
Yeah.
When those lasers start firing, it's gonna be like porn, like space battle porn.
Battlefront.
Well,
I don't know
I'm
if you
not
got-
planning
you-
on wearing my pants there, so.
Hmm.
Oh, dude, better bring some tarps. Do you guys watch Star Trek Discovery or not?
No.
really?
Yeah, I've been watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
final episode of season 2 had some pretty legit visual
Yeah,
masturbation.
it did. It did.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the thing that's kind of grabbed me on that show because I'm not a big Trekkie. You know, like I've tried it a few times and just been, yeah, okay, it's not my bag. I'm okay with this. But yeah, there's a couple episodes in that, and yeah, right towards the end there, I was just like, oh, it's
Like,
really
this is
well
a-
put together.
This is like on par with Star Wars. I mean, this
Yeah.
is just tons of fucking lasers.
That's
Sanity.
all you
Yeah, they
want.
have- even though like probably nobody cared about that finale, they still have, Star Wars has to compete with that too, because
Yeah.
that finale was trippy, man. I mean, it basically went like Space Odyssey a little bit, like when
Yeah.
the was going through the wormhole or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it just has a lot to compete with. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I hear the ending was really well received. But
No, I'm
again,
fine
it's
with
like
it.
it's
Yeah.
competing with that. Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either.
Yeah.
You know, endings. I don't know. I feel like maybe I might change my mind in a year, but I don't want to watch it for a year at least. Like I don't want to revisit it. I just want to let it all get out of my brain, and like it's something that only Star Wars can really like. Take up real estate in my brain like that, where I can be like, okay, cool, I've just watched it, and now I've got another, like, for The Rise of Skywalker, I think we've got midnight screening. I've booked 12 lunchtime the same day
Nice.
as well.
Nice,
So,
yeah.
you know, like, I can't do that with anything else.
Well, what's going to happen is so outside of this, I write movie reviews. So I'm on Disney's press accreditation list. So I get to go to all press screenings and take a guest. So what we think is going to happen is we'll go to see it at like 6:30 the night before it gets released. But then also we have tickets for midnight that same night.
Probably at the same location.
Probably at the same location. So we'll watch it, sit around in silence, weeping, then go watch it again. Then 12 hours later, Dick Eddie is going to go watch it again.
You know what's funny? It doesn't even matter if the movie sucks or not, because this is Star Wars. There's so much shit to look at and
Yeah.
unpack, and like even if it's bad, I would still go see it again in 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's just it's fucking Star Wars. You know?
No, that's it. I mean, like once I work that out, that we're probably going to see it the same, like, you know, twice within 10 hours or whatever. Like, cool.
I just saw something
yeah.
in the chat room. Sorry, Paul Clemens said, plot twist, the entire movie takes place inside a Sith holocron. It's not Dallas.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, right. Or is that the show where that happened?
Yeah. A whole season was a
right.
dream.
Just a dream because they couldn't work out, how to bring a character back.
Hey, it worked on X-Files. Not, I don't mean it worked, but they did it on X-Files.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I want to go back just a second. So earlier you were talking about expecting like Force ghosts and all this sort of stuff, and I've seen that. I think one of the things, just to contradict that idea, that really works in Return of the Jedi is that it's really simple. Like as an ending, it is not all that complicated, really. Like the power structures that are in place, good guys fighting the bad guys. It's pretty straightforward, easy to follow, and I think that would make certain things like bringing people back from the dead, if there was like any sort of time travel, like if the world between worlds existed, I think that would be a little bit much for a kid's brain inside of Star
agree.
Wars.
I think as awesome as those ideas are, they don't seem to be included in these new films. Like the sequel trilogy has been very meat and potatoes. It's like, we got to blow this thing up.
Yeah.
Got to do this.
Run away.
I don't even see them dabbling in like the cloning plot line either. I mean, look, it's possible. Ray could be a clone, all that shit. It just doesn't feel like the right movie for that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I see what you mean.
I think it is, because this happens every time where people kind of say, oh, this is going to, what are the World Within Worlds, or what if like Ahsoka shows up, or Ezra Bridger.
Everyone will be like, who the fuck are these people?
We know who they are. I mean, the thing is, though, you do have that thing in Solo where Maul shows up. Yeah. And you only know that Maul's alive from the Clone Wars, but you do know who that character is. You know who he is. But if they introduce like Grand Admiral Thrawn and everyone's like, oh my god, it's this guy, but then everyone in the cinema's like, fuck's this blue dickhead?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the very least, what they could do is just flash them, like during that big battle at the end.
Like
I wouldn't complain if, like a dick flash in Fight Club, just one frame.
Just one frame.
Had like someone fly by and you see like the ghost flies by and you see the crew like for a second. That could be a cute little Easter egg. I'm not going to complain about shit like that.
Oh no, if it's a
Easter
thing
egg's
where,
cool.
if the Falcon comes down and Lando's just like, gold leader signing in, and it cuts to a bunch of different ships, and it cuts to like the ghost, and it's just, Syndulla.
Standing by.
Standing by, ghost standing by, and it just moves on to the next thing. That'd be enough for me.
Oh yeah.
That's it, that's all I need. I don't need a whole thing of just like, those characters being in the thing, and then you've got to like go into all this, because I don't want the million YouTube videos that come later of just like such a thing explained. Like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, as long as it's not like Solo, where every reference was just someone wedging in their name off screen, like, we should have hit up Bosk, or oh man, remember that time I ate a Minoc? Like, either show it or don't tell it. That's my fucking golden rule. But
that's
Let's segue. So I think we spent about half hour talking Return of the Jedi. Let's talk a little bit now about what comes after Return of the Jedi. So let's talk about the idea of second chances and how that was illustrated in Battlefront 2's campaign.
Yeah, I mean, Del
was coming up.
That Del Miko and I. Oh,
you retaliate,
I'll
Commander.
back off.
The Empire will assault the very foundation of the rebels' pathetic belief in themselves.
Oh, hello, Your Highness.
Good work out there, but I'd expect nothing less from Inferno Squad.
So you've spoken to General Calrissian.
You've done a lot of damage to this alliance.
Yes, we have, ma'am. And there's no excuse for it.
Watching you fight today, it's clear you're not just running from the Empire. This means something to you.
It does. We've been fighting our whole lives. It's taken us too long to realize that we were fighting for the wrong side. This war is far from over. We would like to help you, if you'll let us.
All right, so we just watched the clip of Iden Versio starting the journey in the campaign story of Battlefront 2, obviously in Inferno Squad, killer of rebellion, and then joining the rebels after realizing that was kind of a bad move. And Leia is cool with it. They try and keep that aspect of their lives. Her and Del Miko, like they try and hide that. And you see that in some of the gameplay as well. Where they, I think it's Del is alongside Leia, you're playing as Leia, and Leia's giving him commands, and he sort of talks about his history. He's like, oh yeah, I was a guy that did stuff on capital ships. And, and Leia knows this whole time, obviously, and she reveals that later on. So the thing we see a fair bit of in Star Wars is this idea of forgiveness. So, Lee, first to open up, you've played the game, obviously, you've played the campaign, so talk me through, I guess, what you think
I've
about
actually
it.
never played it. No.
Oh, really?
Can you imagine?
All right, stream's over.
It's like, I've never seen Return of the Jedi. I've never played Battlefront 2. I have one question.
I just like to make videos defending it, but I've never actually played it. I honestly love the campaign of Battlefront 2. I think it was the ultimate smorgasbord of Star Wars fan service. You got the complete answer to Battlefront 1, where there was no storyline that was even remotely as worthy as this one is. Not only is it a solid plot with new characters, you got Iden, you got Del, other people, that Hask, all these characters that are actually good characters. It's a link between the trilogies. It's an actual story in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, and it leads right up to Force Awakens. I mean, it doesn't show what happened with Luke and Kylo and all that stuff, but it shows a lot of the war that we didn't see in Return of the Jedi. I mean, in the one good thing I like about the special edition Return of the Jedi is it shows all those planets at the end that are also celebrating the fall of the Empire. Because in the original Return of the Jedi, you only see like a couple of shots of fireworks, and it's sort of maybe implied. Like there's some little celebration things, and like maybe other planets were fighting too. But in this game, we see, like Han wants to liberate Kashyyyk. We see Naboo getting liberated by Leia. We see, Iden's planet. She, obviously, like, the Empire starts to attack it. That's why she turns good. So it's like all these other planets going through this process of getting liberated from the Empire, and it's just well done. And you got those moments where it's just straight up fan service, like Lando piloting an ATST, which I love. I mean, it's just so silly and ridiculous, but it's a fucking video game. It should be.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love the stuff without the characters, and I love the stuff with them. Like, dude, when you play as Han in Maz Kanata's bar with a beard, I just don't know how any Star Wars fan could hate that. Like, that is pure fan service.
But I mean, but that's what you want. I mean, that's the thing when I was playing it. Like, I remember when I started playing it, I went on Twitter and I was like, loving this game, and someone said, oh, it's just a lot of fan service. I'm like, yeah. And I am a fan, and I have been serviced.
Like, honestly, don't the fans just want that?
Yeah.
It's like, when they get it, they don't want it. When they don't get it, they do want it.
Yeah.
But the game is just fun, man. I still play it.
Oh, yeah.
Side note, so I replayed it in the lead up to this just to sort of get a refresh on the story. I thought, no, fuck it, I'm going to play it. I'm not going to just watch the cutscenes like someone.
Fake fan.
Like fake fan here.
It's all about the plot, dude.
That's it.
So something that I've noticed, and I don't know whether it's just in this current version or whatever, but since it was released, the campaign's become buggy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't. It's whatever the latest patch is I've got on PS4. I'm playing through, and the corpses float now. So they just they lose gravity at points. They just start floating up in the air, and then you get close to them and they drop. And the NPCs are behind barriers, and they don't just duck for cover. They get stuck in this loop of ducking for cover and jumping up and down. And so you remember when Iden goes to save her dad?
Yeah.
Interesting thing there. I just realized we could talk about that. So yeah, she goes to try and save her dad, tells him that, he's worth like living his life, that basically he can be redeemed, he can be forgiven. But that scene where she's on the outside of a Star Destroyer and it's all fire and explosions and shit and everything's shaking, and you've got the long range homing gun, and there's all these like enemies and stuff in the distance. You could snipe them. It's fucking impossible at the moment because they're just stuck in this loop and their head is just popping up and down and up and down.
Oh wow!
It's just like, stop it! Just stop it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, it reminds me of something that happened a lot when the game first came out, but I don't think this was a bug. I would just join a multiplayer session, and I would see all these players just running in a circle.
Oh, that was players.
Yeah. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Like, they tape their joystick down, apparently.
Yeah, rubber banding.
Why?
At this point,
you used to be
might
able
as
to get
well
points just for play time. So they'd go off into the corner of the map where no one was playing, or like off to the side, and they just rubber band so that they
the
had
stick was
because you'd get points or whatever for being in the game without dying for a long period of time.
This was them protesting the microtransactions.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? This shit is so expensive. I'm just gonna not even play. I'm just gonna tape my joystick down and get credits for doing nothing, and fuck you.
Yeah. It was, God, that was annoying as hell. I'd be playing, and some people wouldn't even go to the corner. They would just be
in the middle of the room.
They'd spawn right there, and they're just like, and
I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. I was like, all right, free kills for me.
That was it. But when they're on your team, you're like, fuck you.
Oh, yeah. I've done sessions where everyone was doing that, except for me. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm cleaning up here. No, it's
So onto the story part of it. So that part that I brought up. So Iden goes to basically save her dad. So he's Admiral Versio. He's been leading Operation Cinder, basically saying, "Fuck you. We don't care whether you're rebel planet or an Empire planet. We're killing everyone just to say we can." Because that was Palpatine's kind of vibe. But yeah, so Iden goes to try and save her dad and tell him that he's worth saving, and he rejects it.
Sort of. He kind of says, "You're right, but I can't go." It's interesting.
My place is here.
Yeah.
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 Like he's cool with her, but he's like, nah, I deserve to die with this ship or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I sort of saw it as he doesn't accept the idea that he is worth redeeming, but he accepts that he's done the wrong thing and that he probably shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
That's
she can
pretty
still be
much-
saved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I liked the ending a lot. And then it got really dark with Del just getting killed. I was like, wow.
Yeah, mind probed as well.
For anyone that was wondering what happened to him and why we haven't heard from him, there you go.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, again, if you just are only concerned with the multiplayer aspect of the game and the microtransaction fiasco that has been completely erased at this point, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Then I could see you. Yeah, I could see not loving the game. But if you just separate that from the campaign and all the other great modes that are in there, I don't see how you could hate it. It's just so fucking fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think do you think that they carried through the themes of Star Wars and like so the things of forgiveness and redemption and all this sort of stuff? Do you think they did a good job with that story aspect of it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, like you said, the story is about two Imperials that turn good for totally different reasons. Like Del has a encounter with Luke and other things make him turn, and Iden sees her planet getting bombed, I think, right? So she decides, all right, this has gone too far. And I just loved that. Like, my favorite thing about The Force Awakens is Finn, just a stormtrooper turning good. That is just, you know, whatever. I'm sure it's been done in novels and stuff, but just to see it in a movie is great. And then in a game, it's great because you get to play as the Empire and do all this crazy shit. I don't know. I mean, the story of the game is definitely just a little imbalanced with the like fan servicey moments with Han and Lando and Leia. Like you don't really need those in the game when you have this plot about Iden. But again, I'm a sucker for this shit. Like I just loved it all. But yeah, when you put it that way, in terms of the forgiveness theme, it's definitely there. Kylo is just super evil in the game, though.
Yeah, he really is. He stands out. Yeah. The one of the things that I totally agree. The Han playing as Leia, not really all that necessary. Like, especially playing as Leia, I actually think it would have been more fun to play as Del in that scene. To have to do the what is he doing? He's arming something.
He's making a shield.
Oh no, you put a shield on him, and he's doing something for transmitters. Oh no, setting up EMPs. That's it.
Oh yes, of course.
That would have been. I would have liked to have done the EMP thing, not just protect him while he's doing it. But I mean, side note, you could have had that same dialogue exchange. It's the same thing. The one that I did really enjoy was playing as Luke, though. So just running around playing as Luke, you know, you get to play with the lightsaber and all that. But I think having Del in that scene alongside you,
that was great.
Actually made that a little more impactful.
Totally. That was the part of the story where I was like, okay, this is really going the extra mile. Like I didn't expect the game to have this much of a story. And yeah, that planet was beautiful. Was that Pilio?
Pilio.
Yeah.
That was just incredible looking. It was just pure fantasy, you know?
Oh,
yeah, it's great.
Oh yeah. The that was the planet where Palpatine had put a outpost. So a Sith outpost. Oh, and as a first. So it's the second new canon thing that butts right up to an old canon item. So Rogue One obviously is the first one. This is the second. It's like right there. It's meshed in, but it's it's got that compass that Luke has. So from an Easter egg. So they took an Easter egg from a video game and put it into The Last Jedi.
Oh, it's in his hut, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in his hut.
Yeah,
it's in his hut. So. Oh God, I remember seeing that in the film and just seeing it on the table there, and I just finished playing the campaign. Fucking shit! I was just like, yeah.
It's not often you see that stuff in the films.
No, I don't think. Have they done it before? Do you know?
Not that I
think that's why people are so upset, is because there's not enough callbacks to other media. Like You know, but like you said, most people who watch these movies are not going to give a shit about little references and stuff unless it works in the narrative, unless it has a dramatic meaning. But I do think The Rise of Skywalker could benefit just to have a little more fan servicey shit, because this is the final battle. I mean, if there was any time to jam in, like to wedge in Wedge, now is the time. I heard a rumor that he's in the movie.
I heard that too.
Whatever.
He's on the cover of one of the books, I think.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's one of those. There is. I don't know if it's official. I don't, because you don't know. Because the second a rumor starts, someone from like WeGotThisCovered.com reports it as a fact.
Yeah.
And
they
then,
do not have it covered.
No,
do you know that,
they've got nothing covered. They've barely got their asses covered.
Well, do you know that there's that thing, isn't it? I can't remember what it's called now. It's called it's something to do with Wikipedia, and it's the idea that so someone writes on Wikipedia, Wedge is going to be in Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
And then Vanity Fair say, oh, not Vanity, so like Vox or Vulture or something say, oh, it's official, Wedge is going to be in it. And then someone takes that article and uses it to be the citation on the Wikipedia page.
Circular.
So the thing just runs in a circle. So then it's like, oh, it must be true because Vulture ran it. Well, Vulture only ran it because they read it on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And it just goes in a circle.
Oh, God.
What do you guys think about the Matt Smith fiasco?
That's so interesting of what's going to happen with that. So, was cast, then just disappeared off the...
Was he?
So, I guess he was rumoured that he was cast, or he was cast.
Yeah, and then he said that he hasn't.
And then he said he hasn't, and he's disappeared. Now, he was apparently in the final few people for Kylo, originally.
Yes.
Rumoured. So you're like, okay, well then has JJ gone back to the well and said, oh yeah, this guy was really cool, let's bring him back into it. But then he's playing someone who's so secretive that they don't even want to...
Who could that possibly be? We know who's playing the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, what else is there? What is he going to play? Like,
I think it's a red herring.
Admiral Thrawn? Like, it's just... If he was in the film in like a cameo role, like how Justin Theroux was in Last Jedi, like they would have announced it. That's who cares.
Yeah.
But I don't see who he could be playing that is such a big deal that they need to keep a secret. And why would they have some, no offense to Matt Smith, he's fucking amazing, but why would they have some person that like Star Wars fans have never seen before as like the big bad of the frickin' 9 film saga? Like people want him to be like this Palpatine possessed. Like, do you really think that would be good? 9 films, and they're all adding up to some dude that was like not in it. Like that's your main villain? I don't know who could even like that idea, but...
Well, my thing was, I was thinking, if he's going to play, like, I don't know, a reincarnated Emperor, something. But it's kind of like, okay, well, it's because he was Doctor Who, it's good shorthand to be like, okay, someone who's resurrected in a different body, Doctor Who, it's kind of it's a nice instant sort of like, okay, well, people will sort of just get it, they'll make that jump. In the sense of like... So much sense. When you cast, you know the guy who plays Littlefinger in Game of Thrones?
Yep.
And he was Mayor Carcetti in The Wire, and everything he's just like a sleazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, right, cast...
Shorthand now.
Yeah, he's like a shorthand thing. As soon as you see that character, you're like, I know who this dude is.
Yeah. Wow.
So maybe that's it.
Dude that gets reincarnated.
Dude who gets
but again,
reincarnated.
It's like, we have Ian McDermott. What is the fucking point?
Yeah.
Having some dude get possessed by, like, that's just awful.
It's
could be a flashback. Like, I mean, like, you know, we've got our first flashbacks in the last one, and maybe JJ just went, fuck it, we can flashback now. I didn't know we could do this.
Yeah, that's something we can. He's
We're not using no Matt Smith for no young Palpatine. That would just be the most bizarre, non-Star Wars thing you could do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
it would be weird.
I don't know. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong. And if he is in the movie, then it shows that, like, nothing is secret. Like, the fact that that leaked, if it's real, that means they can't keep anything a secret. Apparently, they revealed Palpatine because they were afraid it was going to leak. Do you know if that's true or not? I can't really find any.
Had heard.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one that... I think they kept that in the box very well. Like, when that was dropped at Celebration, that was the moment for me when I was just like, what the fuck? that was
that was everyone's.
What was your first thought when you heard him laugh? What was the first like emotion you had?
My first emotion was it was something. It was like complete shock, but then also just like, of course he fucking is.
Yeah.
Just that thing of like, of course this prick's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not dissimilar. Like, I think I had a moment of just like stomach sinking.
Yeah.
And then silence for like in my brain for a second, where you just like someone's given you the suggestion. It's like, concentrate on your breathing, and it's like that was me. All I could hear was my own breath, and I was like, and then it was
that's...
holy shit. And then penny drop was just like, yeah, if anyone's gonna be a fucking eternal fucking pain in everyone's ass, it's him.
Yeah,
it's got to be him.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I feel like I was just keeling over in laughter. Like,
oh, really?
I was laughing like his laugh. He was just mimicking the... Yeah, because like to me, that's just not what I need. I mean, if this is what their plan was the whole time, and if it links up to the other two movies and it explains stuff, then I'll be so on board. But like, I don't need him or Vader or anyone to come back. Like, I'm good. I liked the movies they were in. I like these new characters. I like going new places. All I care about is Kylo, Finn, Rey, Poe. I'm invested at this point. I've had 2 fucking movies with these people. Now I give a shit. It's like you've been watching a TV show with them.
Yeah.
But once I realized that this is, hopefully they're telling the truth about this, that they had this plan the whole time, you just got to be open to it. Like, it might it could be incredible if it really explains, certain things that I don't even think needed explaining. Like, I don't think Snoke needed any explaining.
No,
Snoke was
but
pretty.
This will have to, like, this has to relate to him though, because why was he doing his thing if the Emperor was alive, chilling? They're gonna need to go back to stuff that have happened in the past 2 movies, or else it's gonna be like, well, where was the Emperor the whole time? So
So,
I'm looking forward to that.
One of my favorite things, I've had to stop doing it now, obviously, because there's too many spoilers around, but I remember going on Star Wars leaks, and someone had like, the making Star Wars and Jedi Praxis or Paxis or whatever, like a bunch of them got together and they'd made like this is what the plot of the movie's going to be. I was like, I'll have a little skim read and see what jumps out, and it's pretty awful. And unbelievable. But the thing that really sort of made me realize the whole thing was probably trash, or the whole thing was based on like someone had seen the trailer earlier or something like that, was when it mentioned the Emperor coming back, it was just like, and the Emperor comes in and he's still alive and he's just really old. That was it.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm expecting. I mean, I'm thinking, oh, he's resurrecting and all this. People are thinking, oh, he's cloning. No, it might just be very simple. He just didn't die.
He just didn't die.
And he's just there. But here's the thing about Star Wars, the problem, and I've said this and I've gotten so much flack for this, is a lot of Star Wars fans don't know how to watch films. Because they are very obsessed with what happens in it, the plot, just the plot. Meanwhile,
who, what, where, when, why.
That is not the only thing in a film. Yeah, there's a story, of course, but there's also the filmmaking. You got the lighting, the editing, the sound, the acting, the music, just the production. And Star Wars fans don't care that, or the people that are angry on YouTube who are Star Wars fans don't seem to give a shit about craft and hard work and things that are really well done. All they care about is what happens, what has occurred in the Star Wars timeline, what are the big shifts and twists. That is it.
Yeah, they're the people that comment. We used to get this a bit. Like, there was people telling us that we should just stop doing what we're doing and focus on lore. Like, seriously. And I was like, no, hey, that's not what we're doing.
No.
There are other YouTube channels that focus purely on this and do it infinitely better than we could probably do it. And literally, we'd get essay responses back from some of these people, just like telling us why that's wrong.
Yeah,
right. Just like,
fuck
you!
We're talking about the films, which is where Star Wars began as 3 films. That was it. And thank fucking God these new movies are not trying to include all the other shit, because it's impossible. You wouldn't it wouldn't be a comprehensive film that would make all this money. People would be so lost, or at the very least just not invested. And I'm really thankful that they respect the film so much to just try to make these just films.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be this link between comics. And also, they've said very openly, we are not using the EU because George Lucas didn't have enough oversight over it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't connect. And thank fucking God. Like, I know the stories are cool and there's great characters and I love Knights of the Old Republic just as much as anyone else, but it's just impossible to make a film that mentions all that. That's not what films are. Films are not this thing that's like a frickin' textbook history lesson.
Yeah.
That's just not what a film is. It's supposed to be something that you're along with for the ride and the emotion and the feeling. That's why I can't fucking vibe with the Maulers of the world, because I don't think any movie is objectively bad. I'm sorry. It's not. That's like an oxymoron. We're talking about films, entertainment. Like, The Room isn't even objectively bad. It's not.
Yeah.
Because there are people who love it.
Genuinely and not just ironically.
Yeah. And again, it's not a fucking history lesson. It's just art. You can interpret it in so many different ways, and some people enjoy that part but hate that part. Some people like that part but hate that part. How the fuck can you say it's objectively bad? If anything, the movie is, if anything, I don't think it's objectively anything, but if anything, it's objectively good, because even guys like him, like Maj0r and all those fucking guys, they'll even admit, like, oh, it looks good. The film is shot well. The music's good. Okay, well, then it's objectively good. You're admitting there are aspects that are good.
Yeah.
So then it's good. The fact that you don't like the plot, well, that's just one element of the movie. I'm sorry, it just is.
And I would also say as well, there are movies I don't like, so I don't spend 2 fucking years talking about them.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of God.
You know what movie I don't like? I don't like Zack Snyder's Watchmen. Don't like it. Actually walked out the cinema. And that is it. This is the first time I've probably mentioned it. Because when I see people who say they do like it, good for them.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I'm a hardcore Men in Black fan. Like I fucking love the whole trilogy. I got the Blu-rays. I got the 3D. I'm like, I think that Men in Black 1 is just one of the greatest films ever made.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
The new one was like one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my fucking life. Am I going on the internet crying about it, complaining about how they ruined it? No, who gives
What, you don't have a pseudonym?
Yeah,
it's a movie about aliens. None of this is real. It's entertainment. I'm never going to think about it again. I don't give a shit. If I hated new Star Wars movies, I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's a fucking movie.
You'd be disappointed and you'd move on to the next fucking thing.
Like, dude, these are cameras and actors and lights. Like, none of this isn't reality. It's not like, oh man, did you see what happened in Star Wars today?
Yeah.
Oh man. Can't believe that happened. It's like, it didn't fucking happen. None of this shit matters because it ain't real. Like I know it sounds crazy, but I really think people, like, in a way, forget that.
Yeah.
They think that this, like, matter. This is my religion. Oh, how dare you mess up the events of my religion? It's like, dude.
Yeah.
First of all,
chill the fuck
Star Wars
out.
could not have been more ruined than it already was. Like, no one can ruin Star Wars like George Lucas. It never will be that. Like, where was it going? There weren't movies coming out. It wasn't going anywhere. He was just butchering the original trilogy more and more. Like, how could it have gotten worse? I don't understand what was worse than that. You know, like,
good segue. Actually, let's jump straight into it. I'm going to play the clip. We're going to talk about all the fucking weird shit that happens. And before I do that, some shout outs into the chat room. So, yeah, you got a few amens.
Yeah.
For everything that's been said. Preach. Yeah, what else we got here? Maj0r Lee speaking the truth.
The Slafer.
Look, I fucking love Lucas, man. Like, I'm not like this Lucas basher at all. I mean, he's one of my idols. But look, you got to admit that it wasn't doing too well, the franchise.
And
you know,
case in point, let's
right,
intro
go
clip
ahead.
to show, like, probably my choice for the thing that I fucking just hate the most in Return of the Jedi.
Seconded.
So, Jedi Rocks is one of them. Oh god, that is probably the thing that actually has taken Return of the Jedi from being up here. Like, it was one of my favorite fucking films growing up. It's way down my Star Wars list now. Posted it on Twitter today. It's way down there now, and it's because of the special editions. Really
I
is.
think the weak way, like drums, is probably
Yeah.
the
Yep.
low point / high point. Yeah.
Actually, I
No,
mind that one bit of it.
That was one of the parts where I switched back to the unaltered trilogy. Like, just all right, let's resume this.
Yeah.
The good version.
Yeah.
No, but,
Yeah.
well,
so-
okay. What do you guys think about the Ewoks?
I like them.
I love the Ewoks.
Yeah.
They're teddy bears who fight like the Viet Cong.
Yep. All for the Ewoks. What about you?
Could be a Vietnam metaphor, or just some indigenous third world culture that's rising up against, developed fascist regime. But a lot of people have said, all right, Ewoks exist to sell toys, right? Everyone on YouTube has said that, even people I like. And when I was a kid, I really wanted an Ewok. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, just having a little furry teddy bear walking around with you.
Same.
But
fuck Elmo, like, God.
At the same time, it's also just a really fun thing to have in a Star Wars film. It's an alien, but it's a teddy bear. It's something outer space and science fiction, but it's really cute and cuddly, and you want one.
Yeah.
And
they eat people.
Yeah.
They're hardcore, dude.
They're
eat
fucking
Imperials.
hardcore. Yeah.
And also, a lot of people probably hate that one scene where the Ewoks are like kicking the Empire's ass, but right after that, they get their asses kicked, or in that same scene, like it.
Oh yeah, the tide begins to turn until kind of Chewie gets the walker and kind of evens it back up again.
Tarzan's over.
Yeah.
And you can see like a lot of effort was put into just coming up with ways for them to fight. Like, dude, they got they have so many traps, like the log flying in, logs rolling down a hill.
I like the trip rope that doesn't work.
Yeah, the trip rope.
And they just drag
catapults, hang gliding. Like, they definitely had a lot of tricks up their sleeve. So
they're a warlike race, a warlike species.
Yeah. Quick question for everyone in the chat room: does anyone actually like the Return of the Jedi Special Edition? Because I think there's a lot of people that like the Empire Strikes Back Special Edition.
That's me.
I'm one of them. I think it's way better than the original.
New Hope is a bit uneven. The Mos
but
Eisley stuff.
I don't know anyone that prefers the Special Edition for Return of the Jedi. So if anyone does, say so in the chat room.
Yes.
I'll be honest. I'm one of those crazy like purist fans. Like, I can't stand anything Special Edition. I have to watch Unaltered.
I've never heard of people like you. Please tell us more.
No, but last time I watched Return of the Jedi, I was telling you guys I switched back and forth between the Blu-ray and the Unaltered. And like even the color in the Blu-ray isn't the same. Like, it's just way too vibrant. The blues are so blue and the greens. I'm used to this sort of consistent, limited color palette that the film used to have. But Empire just has the least amount of change. I mean, the only substantial thing was like more shots of the Wampa, which totally helps. It doesn't hurt at all. And like the Bespin backgrounds are cooler.
Cool.
Yep. New Emperor bit.
Emperor looks better. There wasn't any drastic like additions, like new scenes,
little things,
songs.
There's no Empire is one of the very few Star Wars films that doesn't have like a scene in like a bar or a casino or something like that, or a marketplace where there's like a shitload of aliens in it. So that seems to be where Lucas is just like, let's get in there.
Yeah. Also, with Return of the Jedi, I think it was a perfect answer to the criticisms of Empire. Because believe it or not, a lot of critics.
Oh yeah, people hated things.
Really
about
didn't like. They were like, this isn't zippy enough. This lost the fun spirit of the previous one. Blah blah blah. I think Jedi actually brings it back to that with the Ewok battle. Like, Han just doing his thing. They don't really have a lot of difficulty. They're just kind of kicking ass, but it's cut with this really deep, dark drama between Luke and Vader. So it took what was good about Empire and what was good with A New Hope and kind of made this middle ground. And it was, I think it's pretty successful doing both. A lot of people don't think so. They're like, oh my God, I hate when you're seeing Luke and Vader and it cuts to the Ewoks. Oh, how dare you? But
I think that works.
I think that works.
Yeah, it's just mixing the best of Star Wars. And It's
Yeah.
a tough thing. I mean, he had a big difficulty doing that in Phantom Menace. You see in the documentary.
We're trying to do. It's like 4, isn't it, running at the same time?
Yeah, it's way
lot
too
of
much.
The
different
Gungan
tones.
fight, the space
Yeah.
thing, the Maul thing, the Palace thing.
Yeah.
I think, like, recently rewatching Jedi, and I've had some arguments with people about this online. Like, the Jabba's Palace thing just completely leaves me cold now. I used to really love it as a kid, but if you were to I think one of the things I dislike about it is like it's so independent of the rest of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could literally take the ending of Empire when they're looking out the window, fade to black, fade up, and put like 1 year later, do the Jabba's Palace thing, and that would be the end of Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi starts. Like, I need that connective tissue, and it's not there. But everything after Jabba's Palace, love it.
Yeah.
The space battle in Return of the Jedi is the best space battle in Star Wars. Like,
I think you're right. They're a little disjointed because I've heard people say the opposite. I've heard people be like, all right, the Jabba's Palace shit's amazing. Everything after that sucks.
Ah.
So, yeah, it's kind of like
that's
they
fucking
had
weird
to.
me.
Yeah, I mean, I get both arguments because Empire ended on this crazy cliffhanger, and you have to resolve that, but you also don't want to spend the whole movie resolving that.
Yeah.
You want to get the resolve over with so you can do another movie.
yeah.
But yeah, the way that Luke's sort of plan gets rolled out, I think, is very underrated. I've heard a lot of people be like, "Oh, his plan makes no sense, and why did he come in and then do this and kill all these people?" I don't understand what is so confusing about it. He did the Jedi thing to do. He tried to offer a deal first, non-violent transaction. I'll make you a deal. That didn't work. So he shows up, tries to do a mind trick on Jabba. That didn't work. So all right, last resort. Let's just kill everybody.
Yeah. He pulls a gun.
I really, honestly, I don't get what's so fucking confusing about it.
I think it's it's the variety of pieces. It's like, well, why is Lando there? Why is Leia there? Why does Chewie? And it's the thing where it's like, to save one prisoner, they end up with 6 prisoners.
Yeah.
Because they all end up in prison.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm going to do a video about it. But at the same time, the sort of conclusion I keep coming to is Star Wars isn't Mission Impossible. So we're not there to watch some well-oiled heist. The main trilogy trio and, well, not even, the whole group, the thing that makes them so likable is how scrappy they are. Like,
Absolutely.
everything they, like, even the Rebels, like, as we were talking about before, the Rebels' plan is always a full frontal assault.
It's ballsy.
Yeah.
It's
with
always
not
just
enough
like,
people.
fuck them.
Yeah. Let's go now.
Let's
have
just
to go
do
now.
it. Right.
And
We'll work it out as we on this fly.
Who else kind of reminds you of that? Little guy named Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Because no one could accept the mistakes that he made in The Last Jedi. Meanwhile, look at the original trilogy. All he does is make mistakes.
Yeah.
Empire. Luke is the rebellious kid Jedi. He's a Jedi that secretly leaves school and goes and like does drugs with his friends and fucking breaks all the rules. He breaks all the Jedi rules. He started training too old. He left his training too early. It faced Vader. He probably broke tons of rules by killing all those people on Jabba's sail barge or kicking people off speeder bikes and jump like everything he does. It's like he has one foot in the Jedi door and one foot out. He was meant to break their rules. So Last Jedi is just a continuation of that. It's him actually saying that out loud and being like, yeah, you know what? I was never really that down with these Jedi people. It's like a religion. It's like you could take religion and incorporate it into your life and have it be a piece of you. You don't have to be this religious zealot, this like peon of a religion. Luke is just that like realist. You know, he learned from it. He's got the power, but he's not about to just bend over for everything they say. And I think that just goes right in line with Empire and Jedi. I mean, you know, even in that scene where Yoda's dying in Jedi, you know, you could tell that like Yoda didn't know that Luke faced Vader so soon. And then when he finds out, he's not happy about it. Like, he's just always going against their ways. And it's because he's scrappy. And so is Han. And so is Leia.
So was Anakin. And so was Qui-Gon.
Yeah, absolutely. The good point. So was Qui-Gon.
That's the thing. Like, there is this rich theme of Jedi who don't toe the line. And
they're rebellious.
They're a bit rebellious. And damn it, they get results. You know?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they absolutely do. Like,
and,
you had a big conversation conversation on the internet about
Yep.
about the whole Luke plan thing, and you know, like the big one that you were, what did you call it? Hansplained?
I got handsplained.
You got
very much,
handsplained? Hansplained.
Handsplained.
Hansplained. Yeah. About you got.
That's
you got
when someone talks to you and they're like, "No,
yeah.
Give me back my wife.
gotta have me." Yeah, hairs
With
flying.
that little, like, he has such a good vibration to his finger point, like it just. But yeah, so you got Hansplained.
Oh yeah, because I was
that.
just like, you know, well, the Jabba's palace stuff is essentially pointless, and you could remove it, and everyone's like, oh, but they save Han, but they save Han, but they save. I'm like, no, I get that, but what you need is literally one line of dialogue where it somehow ties that into the Death Star. Like, basically, you just need to have, oh, you know, they've got Han Solo's there, they've lost all the rebels, so chances are they're going to go and try and save him. So maybe have a few Imperials in Jabba's palace, and Lando goes and has a drink with one and gets one of them drunk, and they say something about the second Death Star.
I know what you mean, because it's kind of like once Luke flies off the planet, he goes to see Yoda. You're kind of wondering, like, where's this movie going? And then Yoda's like, you have to face Vader. It's like, oh, okay, that's what. There's a plot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I will admit, the Death Star existing in Return of the Jedi is undeniably kind of silly.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But then again, you could also interpret it as maybe it was just the Emperor
branching out. He wants more than one.
I was going to say maybe he wants the rebels to think that it's easy, but really he has this secret plan, which we knew in Battlefront 2 that he did. And now we know from The Rise of Skywalker he had an even bigger plan. Yeah. And, you know, he's always the one to wait and roll out the plan later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they might even say that, like, the second Death Star... Because you know how Last Jedi kind of cleaned up a couple flaws in the lore? Maybe this movie will clean up the flaw of having a second Death Star. Maybe now we'll learn why the Emperor built one. I don't know.
It's too big a piece of bait to ignore.
Yeah,
like it's that thing of like, they've got a second Death Star, we cannot let them finish it, we've got to go there, and it's so big we've got to take the whole fleet. So in terms of a plan, the Emperor either lures Luke in, Luke kills Vader and turns, he wipes out the entire Rebel fleet, or whatever this next plan is, or like, well, fuck, it doesn't matter anyway. Because if they win and blow me up, well, fuck it, I'll come back in 30 years because of X, Y, and Z. Playing really all the angles.
The fact that they're bringing him back, it works if you thought that the Emperor went down too easily. Because in a way, he kind of did. Like, he was very cocky, almost to a point where it's like, dude, really? You're going to build all this up and you're going to be this stupid right now?
And we know from the prequels he's not.
No.
Yeah. Like, the complete opposite of, like, Luke and the Rebels being all scrappy and making up on the fly is Sheev being like, every single everything I've foreseen has come to pass. You know, because I've done it. I've made it happen.
And then also in Return of the Jedi, he wanted Luke to like strike him down. So it's like maybe he knew, like, you can't kill me anyway, and it'll only help me in 30 years or something.
It's like, if you attack me and Vader stops you and then you kill Vader, you're mine. If Vader kills you, Vader's mine. If you kill me, I'll come back.
You're evil
and you're
now.
fucked.
It's like, that's why that scene is so great. And everyone that's like praised Return of the Jedi, everyone agrees that the best scene in the movie is when Luke is really angry and he's chopping Vader's head off.
So good. So good.
What's even better is right before that happens, when Luke is hiding. Like
the under the stairs scene.
Yeah, he's just straight up hiding. Like, he has no plan. He's cornered. Like, you think he might have no choice but to just turn to the dark side. It's like he's at the end of his rope. Vader doesn't even know he has a daughter until this moment. He finds out he has a daughter by reading Luke's mind, and his first thought is, oh, maybe I can corrupt her. So now we're actually believing again, like, oh no, Vader's bad. Fuck that. And it's just like, again, it's pulling at your emotions back and forth. I love that moment when you just see Luke's face and he's just like, he's freaked out. He doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know what he's gonna do. It's so good, such high stakes.
The way the score swells at that, when he jumps out, he goes, "No, I was beside you all along, but And then the swell of the score, and they're
James Earl Jones as well is doing god tier work. When he when he stops and he goes, sister.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, that's
You're
just
wow.
the devil, isn't
Yeah.
it?
He just found out he has a daughter, and he doesn't even give a fuck. He's like, oh, maybe I'll turn her bad. Like, seriously, it's fucked up. But I think, to me, like, the most just emotional, hard-hitting moment is when you see Luke standing in front of the funeral pyre, Vader's funeral, because Luke is the only person there.
Yeah.
And it's because I think it's because he's the only living person that had any connection with Anakin. Like, he's the only one who's met Anakin that's alive.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, man. Like, what a fucking amazing scene. Simple, too. It's just him and a burning Vader. Just
it's stunning.
But again, it's one of those wonderful things, going back to the redemption conversation, of like, when you start with New Hope and you see Vader and he's choking people and he's killing Obi-Wan, he blows up Obi-Wan, he blows up Alderaan, and he's torturing Leia. If someone said to you like, oh yeah, by the end of the movie you're going to be in tears because he's going to be, you're going to see his funeral and it's going to be really moving, you just be like,
have believed it.
Can't see it. I can't see it. But the thing is as well, if you track through the film, you don't get to that scene doesn't feel unearned, even though, as we said, Vader's essentially a villain until his final act.
Yes.
The last thing he does is redeem himself and then he dies.
I'm telling you, I think if you look at it from his point of view, you could say that he started turning good when he fought Luke in Empire. Like when he's saying, "Join me, we can rule the galaxy as father and son." That's when you're seeing him be a human. He calls him his son. Yeah, he might have just been pulled to the light ever since that moment, because in the entirety of Return of the Jedi, he just isn't menacing until that ending scene where he's like tempting to turn Leia evil. Then we're like, oh, okay, maybe this dude is really fucked up. But he keeps you on the edge of your seat. And the best part is when he tells Luke, "It's too late for me, my son." You're just like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I went from like thinking this guy was just a super badass and cool villain to like, now I really feel, I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
Like, that's just good writing, man. It's rare.
Luke saying, I'm going to save you, and Anakin just being like, you already did. You're just like, oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. The eyebrows on Anakin.
Oh, that's a special edition thing, isn't it?
Is the special... See, I noticed the special... They got rid of them. But in the original version, like I was watching the unaltered trilogy, and the eyebrows look fake. I think he added them in and then took them out. I'm not even fucking... Maybe I'm just nuts and I was like too stoned or something. But like the eyebrows actually looked keyed in.
Huh,
and
really?
In the special edition, he just looks like a dude with no eyebrows. Like,
how are you watching the originals?
I have like a 720p Blu-ray rip of the unaltered trilogy.
Maybe it's artifacting around like the compression, because he sits pretty still, So maybe it's like
that, right?
JPEGing. No.
Right. So the eyebrows were real. That's all I care about. All I care about in film is are there hair plugs or not.
Big into wigs.
Yeah. Let's jump back to some of the weird fucking shit, because like that's super good shit.
Stop talking about the eyebrows. Let's talk about weird stuff.
So we've got the weird. That's some weird shit. It's like getting rid of the eyebrows. It's like little things that people wouldn't have thought of, but obviously Lucas has been stewing on this for years. Just like, well, I've burned him. He's not going to have eyebrows, and I know it's true because my mother actually had a microwave blow up years ago. Like
you or Lucas?
No, my mum. Microwave blew up, and her eyebrows never grown back. Like, wow. So yeah, if that's going to happen to my mum, no, that's absolutely. Anakin is eyebrowless, so I get it, Lucas. But like some other weird shit. So Jedi Rocks is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can say good about Jedi Rocks?
When I was a kid, I loved it. I would make my dad
the original version though.
No, like the new version, like the special edition.
Oh, what?
Really? Yeah, when it first came out, I was like 8, 7, 9. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember just like making my dad put it on repeat in the car on our road trip. I was like, I want to hear the Jabba song again. Dude, it's meant for kids. Like,
of course.
If you're 9, you're thinking that's the greatest piece of music ever written. But no, the original's tight. It kind of sounds like a Stevie Wonder song a little. It's like kind of funky.
and it keeps the vibe of the whole scene is a little bit more sinister.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's actually the thing that
Right.
screws me a bit. It's like I could be fine with Jedi rocks, but it plays up the kiddiness a little too much for me because now I've lost that.
It's too polished.
Yeah, and
The original song, like the singing is terrible. Like
Yeah.
Dice Noodle just sounds like a freaking drunk hobo, and
Yeah.
it kind of works in the Jabba.
yeah, him being sleazy
And he's like pulling the chain.
yeah,
isn't he?
getting
And
his
then he drops
dancing
her.
girl and all that.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I've seen the movie a billion times, and I still don't really know what's going on with that Twi'lek dancer that gets pushed down the. Is she trying to strangle him, or is he like pulling her?
He's like,
He's pulling her and
come
she's
here,
trying to get
I want
away.
to tongue you. He's
It's
like,
so-
"Ah."
I don't know if that scene is like poorly shot, but like you could barely tell what's going on. It just looks like she's pulling the thing. You can't really
Okay.
tell he's pulling. I don't know. Maybe
I
I'm
guess maybe the
Yeah.
puppetry isn't as
I think-
sophisticated. though.
Yeah, he's pulling her. He's like, "Hey, come here. I want to get some." And she's like, "No." And
what I
he's
thought.
like,
Drops
"Come on."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No." And he's like, "See ya."
Yeah.
See ya.
When I was a kid, because you
Don't
know,
know.
like the trapdoor goes and then his like
Yep.
days moves forward. Because you never see it move back, I was always like, so does it move forward every time?
He's just got like one really
Yeah.
long fucking.
So as a
balance.
kid, I was just like, wait.
and then they flip him.
Oh yeah, he just
They
turns
just
around and comes
rotate
back.
him. And
Wow, you were
Okay.
thinking of that as a kid? Damn.
I don't know, just because I watched this. It's one of
Yeah.
those things. They say watched it a billion times, so I'd just be watching it, and then that would just be one thing. And be like, huh? Does it go back? Where's the trapdoor now?
When you talk about weird stuff, are you talking about just the special edition or just weird stuff in the
Just-
movie period?
all
No,
of
because
it.
I mean,
All of it.
Jedi is probably. Well, I guess it isn't with the prequels, is it? It's not the weirdest of the weird.
Yeah,
I
the
hear
weirdest
time
of the-
It was pretty fucking weird.
Yeah.
There's some stuff in there. Well, for example, the other thing that gets a lot of hate is Leia saying that she remembers her mother.
yeah.
Once again, I'm not just trying to disagree with everyone. I completely fucking disagree. I don't think there's anything wrong with that moment. She doesn't say, "I saw my mother." She just says, "I have feelings and images." Maybe she saw her in her mind. Maybe she had a dream about her. Maybe
She is
just
force
felt,
sensitive after all.
Yeah, maybe she just felt the presence and saw what she looked like based on a feeling. Who the fuck knows? We don't know what's
Yeah.
going on in their heads. Leia has telepathy with Luke.
And
Yeah.
with Han and
Yeah.
It just doesn't
She
bother
did,
me.
yeah.
The thing that does bother me, though, is that she never comments on the fact that Vader's her father, too. That was totally glossed over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
in that scene when he's like, "You're my sister."
Yeah,
She's like,
it's
"No."
just a look, and that's it. There's no
Yeah.
discussion.
There's nothing about, "Oh, shit, Vader's my dad, too." That's the one thing I will say I wouldn't mind if they...
They kind of like, yeah, that needs to keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, she doesn't really
But
get
the thing about her
emotional.
mom, I'm not bothered by that. I'm more bothered by the horrendous fan service of when she was born, and fucking Yoda and Obi-Wan are like standing there like, "Yep, you take one, I'll take the other." Woo! Star Wars fan service, baby. Like that I don't care for at all.
No.
But
No.
that's just me.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to jump on the Q&A?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and
Yeah.
find something. I can't find the questions.
All right. So this is everyone's couple of second warning because there is a bit of a delay on the live stream. Actually, I'm going to go back to something before we jump into that to talk about Palpatine a little bit more. Scrolling back through the comments, Molly Thomas said Palpatine, made a comment about Palpatine being basically a fucking jerk, and it's absolutely true. Sorry, it's gone off screen, so I can't see the exact words.
Douchebag
She said,
was
a
her exact
douchebag.
word.
Yes, he is the ultimate douchebag. Like, something that really struck me with Battlefront 2 is like just how much extra of a douchebag that guy really is. Because like, take the game out of it, it's like, all right, we've got every level of one-upsmanship that this guy does is just really making you go, "You evil prick." Like, get control of the Senate. Yep, cool. There's this army thing. Start a grand army. Oh yeah, I've programmed them all to kill all the Jedi.
Corrupting
Now I've got
Jedi.
Yeah.
Now
Empire.
just being a mass murderer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then getting to that point where it's like, well, if anyone's going to succeed in killing me, and this is the thing that's going to be interesting for the Rise of Skywalker. Actually, we won't go to Q&A. We'll talk about any more hopes for Rise of Skywalker after this.
Oh yeah,
but,
of course.
like,
Yeah.
it's the thing that I was like, well, hold on a second. So if he had this contingency plan in case he got killed. Was that, and it's like, all right, we'll burn everything. Let's just kill everyone. Was that his contingency plan in case he got really killed, or just killed that he knows he's gonna come back anyway?
That's the first thing that came into my mind when I saw this trailer. I was like, what does this mean for Battlefront 2? Because he already did this in Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Apparently that was just that was just pre-K compared to whatever the hell he's doing in this movie, which it could work in its favor. It could make sense that first he does this Operation Cinder thing where he's a robot
to reestablish the might of
the Empire. Yeah,
show everyone, hey, we have power.
And to make you think like, all right, this is his last stand, but no, it's because 30 years later will be his actual last stand. I mean, I don't know. It could be convoluted, but hey, if Last Jedi related to the game, this one might too. I don't know.
I wonder.
Possible.
I wonder. So are there anything... Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask you a question, but it'll change the subject, so...
Go for it.
Oh, well, it was literally... So, are there any things that, in particular, you would want to see from either Return of the Jedi or the other one, Battlefront 2, in The Rise of Skywalker?
I have no expectations for this film at all. I don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I just, whatever it is, I'm going to be entertained. Like I said, I'm one of the maybe few people, whatever people want to call it, who really like the new characters. I'm sorry.
Everyone does.
I relate to them
invested. Whatever they're doing, I am just looking forward to seeing the new gang together on this adventure. Whatever the fuck they're doing, I don't care. The only thing I want to see in this movie, like specifically, is just one line from Palpatine that is on par with, I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive. As long as he talks like that for 2 seconds, that's all I want.
That is... When... Garrett, sorry, going back to what we were saying earlier on about the trailer, like when I heard the Emperor laugh, it was that sort of thing of like shock and everything, but also he is probably my favourite character.
He's great, man.
Like Ian McDonough's the best part of the prequels by such a long way. He knows exactly the movies that he's in and knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that thing of like when you first see him in Phantom Menace to when you last see him in Return of the Jedi, there's a through line of that same character all the way through. Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean,
so good.
But other than that, like other than just hearing him talk, I don't care what goes on in this movie. And yeah, like I said, when I first heard the laugh in the trailer, I was just like, oh come on, why? But I'm open to it. Like, I don't care. Again, like whatever you want to throw in this thing, just make it work, make it tie in, and I'm on board. I will say though, not to change the subject, but Maul in Solo, I don't know why that happened. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah,
but
maybe
I don't know. If we'll
Solo 2.
Yeah, like
but
that could have been planned and like part of something.
If there was a
bigger,
sequel, it'd be phenomenal. It'd be like the greatest thing ever. Because now I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. But to just end the film like that and then never continue it, it's crazy to me.
Well, you know what it really reminded me of? I think I said this on either our Solo episode or talking about someone else. Like, it reminded me of, remember as a kid watching these like 80s action films that were part of a series or something like that, or sometimes even like slasher films or whatever like that. It really gave me that vibe of like, all right, the movie's finished and everyone's won and all right, off we go. You know, it's the end, but it's like, but dun dun dun. You know, there's like it's either the big bad or the bad guy's alive.
Yeah,
it really had that feel to me.
Yeah,
and that's
all good.
Yeah,
but
where the fuck are you gonna go with it? Yeah.
Again, I've said this so many times. I've gotten many mixed responses, but I really do think they should have just made that Snoke instead, because it just would have been less random, and it actually would have created this interesting link between Solo and The Force Awakens, of how Snoke has been in Han's shadow the whole time because he's mad at Han for bringing Kira onto his side. And he can hold a grudge against Han, so he corrupts his son because Han took, like, if Snoke was Kira's master and not Maul, Han taking her away from Snoke would make Snoke want to take his son away from him.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's reasons why they didn't do that, and they
Yeah.
chose Maul instead. But let's go back to Rise of Skywalker. What are you guys hoping to see?
I've got a short answer because it's not dissimilar to yours, but it's not so much Palpatine dialogue; it's facial expressions. I just want to see him get in some kind of fight where he gets to do that like a face again, like the man mouth Gina.
Do it again, please.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he's no. I want to see his no face.
Yeah, I agree. There's no face.
There's no face.
That's basically the same exact thing that I want to see. I mean, it's,
I
thought you
big.
I thought you were gonna say that's my own face.
yeah.
No. That's
I want to see Shriv. You know the character
Shriv.
from. I want to see him.
and Shriv in the
Yeah.
same film.
I love that guy.
Shriv was good.
I want to, because we get in from the trailer this idea of like the Resistance kind of coming back together, so we're getting a lot more characters, and you see a bit of Lando, you see Maz, you see what's the big turd called, Claude.
Oh yeah,
in the trailer, like a tiny someone found him like in a tiny scene, Rose and Connix and all that. Like bring back Shriv. Shriv's great.
Wow, someone actually knows Billy Lord's character's name. I'm blown away.
Connix,
I feel like I was the only person that like gave a shit about her existence.
Oh, love her. She's great.
Yeah, she is great.
Dude, hell yeah. And she's going to have a good role in this movie, apparently. And again, here's the other thing that people need to be ready for, because they clearly weren't ready in the last film. There's going to be a lot of screen time dedicated to like those types of characters. Like all these theories I'm reading online are only about Kylo, Rey, and Palpatine. No one has any fucking theories about Poe or Finn. Like they're going to take up a lot of screen time, probably like 2/3 of the movie, or at least 1/3.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, people are just going to definitely be disappointed because they're thinking this is going to be like the Palpatine movie. But, dude, you got Dominic Monaghan, you got Naomi Aki, you got Zori Bliss, like
Zori Bliss,
General Pride, Lando. Like, there's a lot of characters.
Richard E. Grant is going to be...
Yeah.
He's going to be so good. It's like an old school Empire remnant who's now in the First Order. And what's his thing? Allegiant General Pride.
Yeah, what a name.
What a fucking name. That character's going to be amazing.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that because he's amazing. I'm looking forward to really weird shit. Like, I can't wait to see Hux again. I love where his character is now.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing how characters interact with each other. I think Finn is just going to kick so much fucking ass in this movie. He's going to be like a machine of ass kicking.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean,
he's like the brute force,
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's going to be... Like, I know one thing people want is, like, for Finn to inspire, like, a Stormtrooper rebellion. Like...
That's been talked about since The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Interesting.
Well, going by, rumors and whatever, and, like, stuff like people, theories from the trailer, like, the idea that, like, the Empire is going to come back, and the First Order and the Resistance are going to have to team up to beat them, and all this kind of crazy shit. And I was like, give me it all. Give me all of it. That's all I want. Just everything.
It's the final chapter. Like,
just give it all. I want to be in physical pain from having watched it through the variety of emotions that I'm forced to go through. Yeah. I want it to literally kill me.
I want to have pain in my groin area for some reason.
Oh my god. Yeah. But like not like a sexual way. I want to have like, it's going to make me...
Cheese grate away?
No, like have a hernia.
Like internal?
Yeah, I want to like herniate something.
They're like, I want to go to the hospital after this film.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'm going straight to the emergency room.
Yeah.
And just be like, euthanize me.
Like, I just saw the new Star Wars. I don't need to live anymore.
That's
you heard about that guy that wanted to see Force Awakens as like a dying wish, and he watched the film early.
Yep.
I wonder if the film expedited his death.
Wow. Do you mean like a mind over matter thing of like, this is my one thing?
I'm ready now.
That's it.
I can go.
No, I wonder if like he hated the film. He died sooner.
He was a massive Luke Skywalker fan, just waiting to see Luke.
Can you imagine like dying and not getting to see the last Jedi? Like, you see the Force Awakens, you see that cliffhanger, and you're just like, oh,
come on, man.
Fuck that. I shouldn't make jokes about that, but like, I would have been pissed if I was that guy.
Yeah.
Like, JJ, you piece of shit.
Alright, on that, let's go to the questions. Sorry, everyone, if you have questions, time to throw them in the chat room. Sean's going to monitor that now. Yep, let's get ready.
I should probably also say, biggest thing I'm looking forward to in Rise of Skywalker, you get to look at a lot of women. And that, you guys get why I'm saying that?
Oh, as in like just having women on screen?
Do you get the context of that inside joke or not?
Oh god, yeah, okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing people love ripping on me for saying.
Yeah.
So you get to look at women.
What's this?
Yeah.
Dude, you don't even want to know.
Tommy Layer.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of questions we got here?
Okay, so I'm going to take one of the questions from Twitter. So the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, they said, what will Star Wars look like in 5 to 10 years? Once we get past Sith and Jedi, or will we ever get past the Sith and the Jedi?
Who's going to take that one?
Hopefully it'll look like Rian Johnson and whatever he does. No, I mean, honestly, Sith and Jedi are just at the core of 90% things Star Wars, unless they're trying to just do a war film like Rogue One or, I don't know, I guess, did the original Battlefront games have any Jedi in it, or was it just like frontline?
Yeah, you had Vader and... Oh, you mean like the old Battlefront games?
Yeah.
Ooh,
no idea.
I don't know, I never played them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, that's such an integral part of why Star Wars is, philosophically interesting and has like this religious subtext. It's because of the Jedi. It would just be this sci-fi war story if it didn't have that.
Yeah.
But
I guess Solo doesn't have Jedi.
Yeah, there's mention of it. Like it's a background element.
Yeah.
So I think it's inescapable. You can't.
They squeeze Darth Maul in at the end.
Well, yeah, that's
Adam have his lightsaber. I mean,
yeah.
That's a really good
Force
question.
is there.
I mean, I guess the closest thing we have to something that not completely, but mostly ignores it is Star Wars Resistance.
Yep.
Resistance is fairly unforcey. Yeah. Like Kylo Ren's mentioned and stuff like that, but it's
true.
There's no Jedi. They don't even talk about the Jedi, do they? Not really.
Not really.
No.
It can definitely be done, but again, it's the most interesting thing about Star Wars. That's the superhero element. The Jedis are the ones with the magical power, and that's just the ultimate fantasy aspect of it. So I don't know. I think that's like the heart of Star Wars.
Yeah. I think it will still have it in 5 years' time. I'd like to see other aspects of it, other periods. People talk about the Old Republic. Fuck that. I want to see before that. I want to see how the Jedi texts got written. I want to see that. You probably would have
you would have enjoyed the scrapped Lucas plan for episode
7,
8, and 9, where
the Wills thing.
Microbiology.
Yeah. I don't know. That may not have been something I would have liked to have seen.
I respect the ambition. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, good for him, just trying to do something crazy and new, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. I wonder if there ever will be just something totally Jedi free, because even Rogue One, everyone's
tiniest bits.
Yeah, it's like the Vader thing everybody loved.
Yeah.
It's interesting question.
I think it just depends as well on who's doing it, if you know what I mean. Like the Aftermath books don't have tons of Jedi stuff in, and they're not great. They're a good story, but they just aren't the presentation isn't great. But then I don't know, it's a tough one, because then you have Empire, and for me, my favorite parts of Empire are the non-Force bits. I like the Han and Leia stuff more.
Nice.
I don't know. Okay,
next question.
FN1189. Does anyone remember how Return of the Jedi was going to be very different? Now, I know bits and pieces of this, from my reading, and the idea was mostly to do with, the ending was going to be that Luke would go off as, the man with no name, and, he wouldn't go back, which I quite liked.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well was, Leia wasn't going to be the sister was going to be a completely different character who Luke had to go find. And then the ending, now this actually ties into something we were talking about before about Endgame. the ending had a lot more stuff with, like, I think they called it the Necro World. So it was all the dead characters kind of coming back to fight the Emperor. And then then that was sort of tied into Vader's redemption. So it was like this idea of they split Vader and Anakin.
Yeah.
So Vader wasn't allowed to find peace, but Anakin became a Force ghost and stuff like that. And then they gradually, with each revised script, cut that.
Yeah,
to
I've
just
seen
that last
bits
scene.
of that. I think Adam Garcia posted little snippets of it on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, that was the first I'd seen of it. I was just, what?
One other thing as well was the idea that the shield generator was on the Imperial homeworld, which was called Hos Abaddon, I believe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like it was originally going to take place on that planet instead of the throne room on the Death Star, like the whole Luke Emperor thing. Going to be on like a Coruscant type city.
Yeah, which I'm sort of into because I really like that name, Hos Abaddon. Because Abaddon is like a city in hell, I think, or something in the real world. Like,
It sounds a little Muslim, like could be a place in Iraq or something.
Like Hosh,
somewhere hot.
Yeah, but no, that's all I can really think of. And then obviously Lando dying, Han dying, and like the idea that if Harrison Ford didn't come back, they were going to have to like work around that, so that's why he was
so it was originally going to end with Luke like kind of just going into hiding, or like does he turn bad, or is he
I think he was sort of like a Ronin. I think it was sort of like that idea of like, this isn't over and I can't he can't hang anymore, so it's like everyone else is celebrating and Han and Leia are all loved up and he doesn't have his place anymore, so essentially sort of he was going to go find the original temple or whatever. I guess it would have tied very well.
That would have been great, because the last image we see of Luke is he's looking at the Force Ghost, which obviously nobody else is seeing. And everyone's partying, but he's kind of not, and you kind of get this feeling like, man, is he just never going to be like these people? Is he just like doomed to be a Jedi and have to see his ghosts everywhere? Like he can't even. Has no privacy. Can't like
just take a shit
without these people
fucking Yoda.
By the way, how creepy is Hayden Christensen's expression when he appears as a guy? He's just like,
it's like, you saw the last of me, bitch.
Could you look like a little more happy and chipper? Like, you just look like you're about to murder everyone at the party.
I think that's the realization, is like, I killed a bunch of kids and I'm still here.
That's it. Deathbed repentance, killing it.
He's just like,
the ultimate meta on like religious zealotry.
Nice.
Like, I can do horrible shit as long as I go to church and say I'm sorry. I'm all good.
A nice blue ghost.
Well, I mean, again, that's a special edition change, isn't it? But I'm not too bothered about.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I like the idea that he kind of reverts back to when he was still a Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, this is weird now because, the people who are wanting to see Hayden Christensen in the new movie, aren't they bothered by how bizarre it would be to have someone as a ghost who is younger than you and is your father? Like Luke is clearly old. Like, just how would they'd have to like have a joke about it? Like,
God, yeah.
Why is your dad younger than you? Well, like you can't just not address that. So I don't think he's going to show up. I think it's just too weird.
That has been a major thing of like this is because obviously with marketing and the lead up and social media and there's so many hashtags, and the current one is like where's Anakin. People are complaining that they didn't see him in the trailer. Like, well,
he's fucking dead. I mean,
he's dead, and of course you didn't fucking see him. It's going to be a twist. If he appears, it's a fucking twist. He's not one of the main characters. It's going to be a moment where you think it's one thing and it's another thing.
Yeah, like save something to surprise. You already fucking blew the Emperor's surprise. Save something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like, if it was gonna be like your thing about the age difference being a weird thing, if anyone could nail it, I think it's Disney era Star Wars, because of all those like parent body swap movies that I think they're behind.
Like Freaky Friday,
like a Freaky Friday style thing. Like that could be horrible, but if anyone could nail it, I reckon it's them.
Yeah, they got priors.
There was an interview that I cannot find anymore, but I really think I read, where they said they're not going to do this anymore, the de-aging thing. I forget if it was someone on the VFX team that was interviewed about it, but they said it was so hard to do Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
That we're just never going to do this again. Do you remember that coming out? That they said they're never
heard
doing
it that they're not going to do it with Carrie Fisher at all in this.
That definitely.
Yeah, no CG Carrie Fisher, but the de-aging thing, I'm not too sure.
Maybe it was just about Carrie Fisher.
I think it was just Carrie Fisher. Because, like, I mean, the VFX crews that do all the de-aging stuff, like, they're in Disney's back pocket. Like, I mean, they do all the Marvel stuff, and they're getting fucking good at it. So they could do it.
Without giving you anything, if the leaks are true, the movie's open with something involving de-aging, and they're not going to.
I 100% doubt that's true.
I don't
know why.
That was sort of like when this kind of the plot line got leaked, and the first, I'm not going to say anything, don't. The first sort of sentence, I was just like, everything that follows this is going to be grade A shit.
Yeah. Right, that just sounds like shit. If that happens, shit. I won't tell you what it is, but I know what you're talking about. If that happens, I won't even be looking at the screen.
No. It's the most un-Star Warsy thing I can possibly think of. It's shite.
Bro, it doesn't matter because it's not real. Like, I can promise you that. But it's just a typical like trope that all these movies do, and it's just not good.
We'll talk about it the day after we watch the movie, and I can just say,
once we know it's not in there, we'll tell you about
it. That's it. Oh yeah, of course. If we get proved wrong, then this conversation never happened.
Yeah, if Matt Smith is in this movie, I will stand corrected. I'm a fool. But
I am intrigued by this Matt Smith thing because I like the guy a lot. So I am very, very intrigued to see why. Like you say, why keep it a secret?
Yeah.
And if you're going to keep it a secret from day one.
Yeah.
I've never heard an actor say, "I'm definitely not in Star Wars," and then they're in it. Like, when is that fucking happen?
No, exactly.
Yeah. Oh wait, it did come out in the news that Ewan McGregor said in an interview just 2 days ago, was like, I've been lying for the last 4 years. I've been talking about this.
Yeah, but he eventually admitted There's no... Like, dude, the movie comes out in 2 months. Matt Smith is still not admitted shit. He's not in it.
No, he's not in it.
No way. But
next question. We got anything? Oh, was that all on Twitter? We didn't have much on Twitter.
There was one on Twitter and there's one on the chat.
All right, let's leave that Twitter one for last. I know
this one.
Yeah, let's leave that for last. Let's grab something from the chat. Looking for a question mark here.
I am. Sorry, let me go. Oh, holiday special 2K20. Yay or nay? From Paul Clemens.
Didn't Jon Favreau say he would do one or something?
Yeah, I'd be down. I'd be fucking down for it.
You know, at this point, after the first one, it's like, what could be worse?
Oh no, there's nothing worse.
Might as well update that and do that better. Yeah, I guess.
Or just do a shot-for-shot remake of the original.
Oh god.
Wow.
But with just like,
Yeah, you know, Harrison Ford really tried hard in that. Like, you could tell he was actually like performing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harrison Ford does not phone it in. He shows up and he does the work.
Luke just looks really weird though. He's like eyeliner or something.
What is it?
Dead doll boy man.
Dead doll boy man.
He looks like a doll. Yeah, it's creepy. Yeah.
Dead doll boy man.
And
plug for our video about the holiday special. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. Help us get those views back up because I stupidly accidentally deleted it.
This guy's deleting views over here like a complete YouTube novice.
He's just like, we don't need these views. It's fine.
All right. What other questions we got? Anything more?
That's it.
Is that it? All right. So then, is that our last question? Actually, 2-minute warning for everyone. Like, if you've got a question, like, fucking ask it. Otherwise, we are going to have our last question. Charlie Ashby. Fuck you, Charlie Ashby, for asking this. Fuck, marry, kill, but it's the hosts of the Imperial Senate podcast. Good plug, by the way. Yeah, all right. I'll answer that one. I'll take it.
Oh, that was a question?
It was a question, yeah. Fuck, marry, kill.
But
that's the out of them. So, Charlie, Claire, and Nikki. I'm going to say fucking marry. I'm going to be nice because it's the two people that I actually know. So, Charlie and Claire. And sorry, Nikki, we've never met. So, you're getting the knife.
So
up and personal, too. I'm going to get you in the stomach. Yeah.
I can answer this question, I think.
Please do.
Okay, I would fuck Chewbacca. I would marry Maj0r Lee. You know that fool? Hammerhead.
Yeah.
And I would kill Cy Snoodles. You're feeling that, right?
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
That does it. That does the work.
Yeah. All right. Let's do one more fuck, marry, kill.
Poe, Finn, and Rey. Nice easy one.
Yeah.
What, you'd marry Finn and kill Rey?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, that's the choices.
They're the choices.
I mean, I wish there were 2 girls and 1 dude there, but I guess that's why it's fun. I'd fuck. Boy, this is like a soundbite waiting to happen. I'd fuck Finn.
Cool.
Marry Rey, and I'd kill Poe.
Huh.
It was the same. I was going to say the exact same order.
Nah.
Yeah.
Marry Rey. Fuck Poe. Poe's
You
gorgeous.
would fuck Poe, or you want to kill Poe?
I'd kill Finn.
Dude.
I like Finn, but Poe's Poe. Oscar Isaac's fucking dreaming.
There's nothing I could say right now that won't just sound extraordinarily gay and weird. But
I said I'd fuck Oscar Isaac.
No.
Boy,
Finn's gonna get it.
Yeah.
That's the worst question to ever ask.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoever asked that, fuck you indeed.
All right. Where we at here?
I should have just said the Emperor, the Emperor, and the Emperor.
Yeah. The Emperor, and Matt Smith.
Okay. All right. Last question. We've got one last question. Sorry. Okay. Will we see an answer to Snoke in The Rise of Skywalker?
An answer to Snoke? What's the question?
Yeah, will we see? Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah.
Well,
will we
okay,
see an
so
answer
I guess
to who he is, I guess.
So yeah, what's his thing?
Well, like I said, I mean, if Palpatine has been lurking in the shadows this whole time, then yeah, I guess there needs to be some kind of explanation of how they relate, or if they relate, or if they even fucking know each other. So yeah, on that end, yes, I do kind of want something just to explain why Palpatine wasn't in the last 2 films. But as far as like knowing who Snoke is or anything like that, couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Could not fucking care.
It's not it. I know who he is.
He's dead.
He's dead, and he was the bad guy, and he was like the anti-Yoda or the anti-Luke. You know, he was just like the whatever. He was the bad guy.
Yeah, no, he was.
There was a time when that mattered, and it was called The Force Awakens. But now that we're 3 movies in and he's dead, I don't see how they could fit that in unless it relates to the Emperor and why he's been missing.
Yeah,
but
I would not be surprised if Snoke ends up just kind of almost being a throwaway line. You know, like
my apprentice
Snoke, my boss, something like that. Like, who knows? Or
that's
like,
all we need, just one line.
Yeah,
one
line.
Need a flashback of them in dark side school together.
Dark side you.
Yeah, or like a flashback. They're in a room together. And he's like, all right, so you do your lightning, and you go like this. You go, no, and he's like, no. And he's like, not like that. And he's like, no.
Like this. I hate to say it, but like, dude, it's just, this is what Star Wars fans do. They care about what is happening, who is who, what is the twist, who is revealed to be what person. That's why people want to know Snoke. But again, that was the Force Awakens flaw, by not explaining that then. When I was watching The Force Awakens, I was having those questions. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he the villain? Why do I care about him? He's lame. He looks like Voldemort. Like, why do I care? But then by the time The Last Jedi rolled around, they gave him personality. They gave him all this spunk. He's like treating Kylo like shit. He's actually a villain now. And,
great dialogue.
Great fucking lines. So by that point, I didn't care. I just liked the character. I liked his personality, and I was invested in the moment where he gets killed. I was like rooting for Kylo to kill him. So it doesn't matter. But yes, in The Force Awakens, they should have done something to make you care about him, and then I think people wouldn't be as unsatisfied with it. But again, it's just people wanting to know, like, oh my god, that's fucking Darth Revan. Oh shit. But to any regular film goer, that's not important.
Well, it's that weird thing as well of trying to like watch a movie, but you're like want to know what's happening in the next movie. Like just watch, just
yeah,
watch the
be
movie.
be
Just
in the moment
be
now.
that one, and then just wait. And when the next movie comes out, see what happens then. But don't.
In a way, The Rise of Skywalker has a leg up and a leg down. Like it doesn't have the same pressure as The Last Jedi did, because we knew what was going to happen in The Last Jedi. We knew it was going to be about Luke training Rey, and we've been waiting for Luke to open his mouth, and we know he's going to say something. So what is it? This movie, we don't know anything.
No.
We know Palpatine's in it, but that's it. So there's a little bit of like lesser pressure on it, but then at the same time, there's way more pressure because it's the final one, and there's all these expectations about who's coming back and all the shit. So it's interesting. Like I definitely think that since people are so butthurt by The Last Jedi, that this film in a way has more pressure on it than anyone ever did. Because now it's got to please people who are angry about something.
But those dickheads will never be pleased. Like that's the thing. Like
I've got a question about that. All right, and I'm not gonna say on air who I texted this to earlier, and had a bit of a conversation about it. But I think this is going to happen. So do you think this will happen? A percentage of the people that are butthurt are going to come out of, and I'm predicting this, come out of The Rise of Skywalker, and they're going to throw their hands up in the air and go, praise be JJ, he saved it, and I was a fan all along, and now The Last Jedi actually makes sense.
I doubt it.
I think there will be. I think there'll be a couple.
I hope so.
Yeah. And if they're YouTubers, I predict that it will be the ones with the least amount of views.
Yeah. There's the usual suspects will either claim they're not going to go see it, and they will go see it. They'll do a whole thing.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some people who are just like, I'm going to take this as my out.
I mean, it's going to have the same shit as the last. It's going to have female characters being strong. Like, it's going to have characters that you don't care about. It's going to have, like, there's no way people are going to be, like, super satisfied with this, judging from how they received the last one. I think it'll be a little better received. I think it'll probably not get as much hate. But, there's no way this is going to please the people who are that upset with the last one. Because that film actually tried to be good, and look what happened.
It dared to be an actual great film.
Yeah,
to be a film. Yeah, it tried to be a film, and look what happened. Like, that's the one people hate. Wow. Okay.
People can't have nice things.
Fucking great.
What are you pointing at?
Oh, so no, it was just Aaron Quinton who'd asked the original question about Snoke. Kind of clarified and said, he meant that there wasn't any connection to the Emperor and all that. But then he's saying here, I love Snoke, but want to know why he was in 7 and 8 and not the Emperor. Was he an apprentice or a competitor?
Yeah.
And I think that
legit.
That idea of him being a competitor is a very interesting idea.
Yeah.
Someone who's like seen what the Emperor does, sort of models himself a bit on it, and it's been like, I want my own Vader and I want my own Empire.
Wouldn't that...
Never considered that before.
I hadn't either. Wouldn't that be friggin' cool? Because like Kylo is all about emulating Vader and trying to be
Who's
this...
Kylo with? Snoke or Emperor?
Who's trying to be...
But he also wants to burn the past down. So it's
Aaron, excellent question, mate.
Definitely great. No, I agree. That needs to be answered. Because why wasn't he in the last two films? But also, it could just be really interesting from Kylo's point of view. What is Kylo doing with the Emperor? Is he going to go with him, or is he going to say, fuck you too, dude? You're the best too. I'm the best. Who knows? That's why this is such an interesting film.
Well, having that as like a three-way thing of like, you've got the Resistance, the Empire, and the First Order all in opposition to each other, and truces and alliances and backstabbing. That's very different to what we're used to.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Reylo fiasco?
In what sense? Is it?
I mean, there's a lot of people that think there's a subtle romance there. There's some people that don't think it's there.
So Matt's a bit more hardcore than me. I am a little bit burnt out on it. I like some of the stuff I see, but I think the problem...
Burnt out? Some people don't even think it's there. You're already burnt out on it.
Oh, I'm just burnt out on kind of the discussion and the fan art and all that stuff, because I'm like, it's fine, but it's, for me, it's not the be-all and end-all. It's a nice part that I like, but I want to talk about other things, and I can't get past that. That seems to just be right in the conversation all the time. But I'm
heavy for it, but in a similar sense, like, I mean, I've got to say, I've got a bit of Twitter burnout, I think, because there's a couple of people in that part of the Star Wars fandom where I've had to mute it. I've been like, wow, I'm seeing the same pattern of behavior where it's like, if this doesn't happen, I am gonna not go see it. So I'm not seeing it opening night till I know it's gonna happen. And even though I'm like, I have my two mindsets. I have my headcanon stuff, my stuff that I'm wanting and hoping for. But I know the second I walk into that cinema, it all gets switched off. Because if I'm thinking and so intently waiting for something to happen, if it doesn't happen, and look, I think it's going to happen, I couldn't imagine, there's not a world that I live in where
There's not something.
There's not some payoff to that. Like, you can't do what they've done over 2 films and then not. Like, in my mind. Unless you go subversive on it. If you just go, fuck it, we're going to take what you know about like Gothic romance and all these kinds of character tropes and character arcs and just fucking flip it on its head, I'd be shocked. But also, if that's going to happen, if any of this stuff's going to happen, I want to walk into the cinema, switch the fuck off, and let myself be shocked. Let myself be taken by the story and not sit there with a checklist of items.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw some people, no, not some people, one person, and their whole thing was like, they're not going to go see Star Wars, they're not going to see Rise of Skywalker on opening night, they're going to wait for people to tell them if Reylo happens, and then they'll go watch it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's exactly what I was saying. It's like they don't care about the film, the craft, the experience of watching a movie. They just want to know what happens.
Yeah.
All they care about is what happened today in Star Wars. It's like, dude, enjoy the music, enjoy the CGI. It's a fucking spectacle. Like, this isn't every movie. It's meant to just be looked at, like, at the very least. I mean, the best thing about the prequels is the visual stimuli in every shot.
Yeah.
It's like,
absolutely.
You can't give a shit that much. But yeah, with Rey and Kylo, it was definitely my favorite aspect of The Last Jedi. Like, when they started talking, I was just like, oh my god, edge of my seat. This is so tense. And I think that there's definitely like a subtle hint of romance there. It's really subtle to the point where it can be debated, which is why it's great.
Yep.
That's why it's genius writing, because some people are watching it and are like, dude, it's so there. How do you not see it? I'm going to go draw some fan art of Rey and Kylo fucking, because it's just so there. And then I've seen
so much of that.
I know. I've been at work like, oh, damn. Unfollow you.
Out.
But... And then there's other people that are like, you know, like, I hate to keep bringing up Maj0r. He's a fine gentleman, but he was one of those people who were like, no, that's so not in the movie. You're like reading too much into it. And I was like, wow, dude, that's interesting, because all I've heard of people that think it is in the movie. So the fact that some people are watching this movie and not interpreting it that way at all is interesting. And that's why I think you see a lot of these like angry posts like Reylos are disgusting, Reylos are sick. Because those people probably think Kylo and Rey are brother and sister, and they're probably like, dude, you're into some incest shit. Yeah. That's why this is so great, because it's still possible that Kylo was lying to her about her parents. It's totally possible.
It is possible.
I don't want that to happen. I love the twist that she's from nothing. I think that's really relatable.
It's perfect.
It's fucking great. It's fresh. You can relate to it.
Yeah.
But it's totally possible that he just was saying that to manipulate her. I don't know why if they were brother and sister, he would probably tell her in that moment. He'd be like, you're my sister. We really need to join forces.
Yeah.
Like, what better way to get her to join than to say we're related? So I don't think that's happening. That would have come out by now, I think. And also, like, he's clearly has the hots for her. If she's not feeling him, it's at least one way. He loves her. I think that's just the way he looks at her, you can tell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think
that
related.
Sequence, the throne room fight is great, but for me, what's better is the bit afterwards. When she runs to the thing and she's like, "There's still time to like save the resistance and stuff," and then it's the bit where he's sort of like, "No, you're still holding on," you know, and he's so.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver in that moment is just, you can't take your eyes off him. Yeah. He's incredible. That whole sequence is perfect. That's the thing where you just like, Rian Johnson is operating on a level that we cannot fucking handle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
he's
so glad
just-
to hear you say that.
Just doing so much good shit.
Not enough people talk about that scene and how well it's written. Like I personally, I think the moment before the battle is the peak of the movie. When Kylo sees the saber turning on the
Yeah.
gives him the idea to turn it. Like, there's so many little things going on there.
Yeah.
Ugh,
That
that's
whole thing then, from beginning to end.
Yeah. We're just about up time, but one thing I just want to quickly say, it's not a question. Girls with Sabers in the chat room, and this is a real important point about the whole Reylo thing. A lot of and they're pointing it out quite correctly, a lot of the stuff that we see on Twitter is because people, like you've said, have been seeing this since The Force Awakens. And other people have not been seeing it, but not just that, because it is very female-centric, I think, and this isn't their words, there's me injecting some extra words to what they've said. There's a lot of ridicule in that community, and it's something that I've seen a lot since getting really sort of stuck into it. It's like, wow, and just even today, there's people sharing stuff around. It's like, you know, fucking Reylos, I hope they all die, kind of thing. It's like,
I see all that shit.
Yeah, there's a level of venom and viciousness, and I think, look, I'm going to say it, I think it's because it is female-focused and female-centric.
There's a lot of misogyny involved. It's a lot of,
Like,
if they're not just thinking that it's incest related, if they're just bothered by it for other reasons, then you're just stupid. You don't get film. Sorry. Like, it's the most interesting thing happening in the films, the fact that they're talking and maybe have a romance. Dude, the stakes are so fucking high because they might have a romance. Think about what will happen in this movie if there's this giant war going on and Rey and Kylo are like making out. I'm not saying that should happen.
Yeah.
But just think about what that means. Like, is she gonna turn bad or is he turning good? Are they gonna is Finn and Poe gonna hate Rey because they know she likes Kylo? Like, the potential of drama is just through the roof. Like, you have to just appreciate it from a dramatic point of view. Forget the fact that it's romance. Yeah, it is, but it's also just stakes. It's like, and also it's this really human element that is the core of Star Wars. In the original trilogy, it was family drama. In the prequels, it was relationship drama. Anakin and Padme are the most interesting thing about that trilogy. I'm sorry, they just are. Like, in Attack of the Clones, every time it's them on screen, you're like, oh my god, what does this do now? It's like, because she's reacting to his turn, and she's the one who knows who he really is. And this trilogy is going to be the same fucking thing. The most interesting plot thread will be Kylo and Rey. Like I said, it could be the opposite of loving your family unconditionally. It could be, this is an abusive relationship. You should not love this guy unconditionally. And, you know, to me, that's just an amazing, like, mirror to the original trilogy. It's like, here's another good message about love and acceptance, but it's the opposite of what you thought it was going to be. But, like, it's just good. Yeah, if people are really getting that mad about the theories and it's not from, like, a fear of incest point of view, I just think they don't understand, like, drama in film.
And Star Wars.
And
what is Star Wars about if not the hope that we can be better?
Right.
That you can go one way and turn back.
It's true. Like, I guarantee you when, and I mean, I can't guarantee this, but I know what, like, interviews with Rian Johnson, he said that the reason why he did these things with Rey and getting that reveal for parents was because it was the hardest thing that she would have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is falling in love with Kylo or whatever, having a soft spot for him at the very least. That's a hard thing to deal with. Same with Kylo. He's this hard, badass, killing Han Solo, all this shit. Now he likes a girl. That's just making a dimensional character. It's the best thing about these new movies. I really do think that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that is probably a really fucking great point to end it on. Lee, we have gone for 2 hours and it has been awesome chatting with you. And just for context to everyone, this is the first time we've met. We didn't speak other than some Twitter messages back and forth to get this thing organized. So we've just been kind of learning how we interact with each other as we go. And so thanks for coming along. Lee, obviously we got you along and, you know, hit you up because of the work you do on YouTube. So you want to, as a bit of a closing plug, tell everyone a bit about you and what you do and how they can find you.
I don't really know what I do anymore, but if you go to youtube.com/Lee Lustig, I believe you can still access channels that way.
Yep.
That is my channel. And yeah, it's mostly stuff that I try to do for comedy purposes, like making fun of angry Star Wars fans or talking about an underrated video game. I mean, I'm just trying to make you laugh. And yeah, there's some Star Wars stuff. I'm glad to hear you say that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
but
you do great work.
Thank you, man. Thanks for not wanting me dead.
It's a nice change of pace.
Very nice change.
All right. Well, mate, with that, let's call it. So, bit of news for everyone as well. So, our next episode's not going to be on a publicized date. Sean just completed an interview with Dominic Pace,
who is featured in a little TV show called... Can we talk about this?
We can say what he's in, yeah.
Called The Mandalorian. So I managed to have an interview with him, which was super cool. Dominic Pace is a super cool dude. And that's going to be dropping after November...
Something, yeah. So basically it's going to be either right at the end of the first episode or the end of the second episode, depending on which episode he's in.
Yep.
We've got it's all ready to roll, and then so there will be a little bit of gap. But then after that, we'll have some reactions, and we're getting close to the end here. So thanks for coming along on this journey, and we will see you all soon.
Bye! Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe for more on the road to 9. Hit the bell icon so you're notified about future installments, and if you like what we do, you can support us by heading over to our Patreon and contributing. Even a small amount helps keep us producing content now and into the future.